I looked up Sowing the Seeds of Love, which was like this gigantic album in my life in the 80s. Um, well, its release was 89 September, so they all run together. Um, but yeah, I would say by 90, around that summer, somebody had turned me onto it. So 1990, I was all in with it. It was amazing. One of the best music pieces that you could ever listen to. Like it just popped. It was every song. And I mean, you got to have headphones on. You got to have really good speakers on, loud or decent, and or headphones on to really hear the music. But Sowing the Seeds of Love from beginning to end, in my opinion, is probably the best album I've ever heard. And so I thought today to run it, that's more of a personal cipher. Even though when you look at the album cover, I'll use it as a thumbnail. It is like the most pagan album cover you can imagine. And they did Everybody Wants to Rule the World and Shout you know, and there they are, 13,483. So what are you looking at there? You're looking at the 34, which is murder in reduction gematria. You're looking at the 83, which is murder in reverse reduction gematria. I'm sorry, the 83 is reverse ordinal, reduction and reverse ordinal. And then the 48, that's fused with both, is Donald Trump back to reduction. So I guess we need to show that off, huh? Gematria calculator. So you saw the 34, the 48. So we're going to run murder. There's your 34 in reduction. There's your 83 in reverse. And that's reverse ordinal because reverse reduction is over here. And then we're going to run Donald Trump. And there's your 48 in reduction. So I've always said when you see the 348, it's a fusion of MURDER in his name. Like it's the perfect fusion of the 348 combo. And there it is in that album that today I was like, I bet it'll pop. I bet it will pop. And boy, does it pop. Murder, his name, murder, all fused together in that particular order. Wow. Just mind blowing. Anyway, let's get on with today's prep. These preps are long, they are something else. So, the first game ever played by the 49ers, August 24th, 1946. Well, that's right after Trump was born. And 49 is his name in the same cipher as Antichrist as it sits in reduction. And reverse reduction is his name and matches Antichrist in reverse reduction. That's why everything went down in 1968, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and Christopher Nolan's movie The Odyssey. They're telling you the Space Odyssey is coming, which is nothing more than the mark of the beast. That's their outer space because aliens are demons. So that's the fusion of everything they do. 220 billion%. That's what it all is. He did Space Force and he did 5G and beyond. I think both in 2020. When did Trump introduce Space Force? Right before 2020, December 2019. What was going on then? Yeah, the illness. When did the trouble in Wuhan, China begin in 2019? I want to hit that 9 too. November 17th. Well, I want you to look. Now it's been moved to 11/17. Zechariah 11/17. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. So I posted that on my Facebook. So there it is. When did the trouble in Wuhan, China begin? The initial trouble in Wuhan, China began late 2019 with first known patient developing symptoms on Zechariah 11/17, November 17th. That's impossible. That is absolutely impossible. And yet, there it is. So, as I hit the link, I don't know. I don't, while I'm skimming, I don't see any of that. For further details, you can review the National Biotech. Okay, well, that's what we just did. And yeah, I think the AI is just playing games. But we got it documented. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Whole bunch of fake numbers, that's for sure. Hang on just a quick second. Anyway, fascinating. Let's get on with 49ers, August 24th, 1946. When you run that to our 86ing day, really and truly, you have to include both to get your 222 code, include both dates, 86 on the percent of a common year. And then they had their first regular season game. That was an exhibition game. And that regular season game gives us, that's what it was. I knew it was something fantastical. 11/17. Zechariah 11/17, right there. 79 years, which is murder in simple gematria, followed by 11 months, 17 days. If we don't have our date, those fallen angels have coded every single thing they possibly can, knowing just to trick me. But everything matches this date. And I mean, everything matches this date. Everything we've been doing. This is part 38, people of the earth. Goodness gracious. Sandy Hook, December 14th. Do you remember that one in 2020? The total solar eclipse that was the midpoint of the two total solars that made the exit across America. And when Biden got his electorals and the therapy first administered in the United States, Los Estados Unidos. Yeah. You run that date to the rising date, and there's your 500 for Antichrist. 13 years, 8 months, 138 is coded. 138 is Donald Trump in civil gematria, sorry. Eve is also coded as it's 2096 in Strong's Concordance, and there's a 20096. So that's an offshoot of it. So the Sandy Hook bad guy, no, this is the Mandalay Bay bad guy. His name's Stephen Paddock. Do you know Stephen Paddock matches World War III But what was it that he matched that blew my mind? This is not what matches Antichrist. It matches Antichrist. Come on, people. False prophet, World War III. Yeah, it just matches Antichrist in the Jewish Hebrew gematria, most biblical. Yeah. October 1st, 2017. When you run him to our 825 date, it's almost 825. The 3 is an almost 8. I know I've never stretched anything like that before, but I can't help but think that's something they get off on doing. Like they're just going like wink, wink, almost, LOL, because it's that perfect 3250. I say perfect because it's exactly 78,000 hours. So it's, yeah. Anywho, Justin Gagey, guess what his fight bonuses were? 825. Yeah. Our date at the UFC White House card. Remember when Trump turned 80, which is your 8, representing, and they called it Freedom 250, which is your 25 for your 825 combination. And the winner of the main event won what in bonuses? Our date of 825. Are you kidding me? No, we're not kidding you. No, we're not kidding you. Yeah, so go get your mind blown with that. That's just that is just it's painfully obvious. And it looks like they're giving us the Hanged Man Illuminati card. The Hanged Man. Actually, that's a tarot card. It's upside down. There it is over here on the left. And if you remember the man that jumped on 9/11, he was in the Hanged Man position. I can't believe they have a YouTube video of it. Are you kidding me? I just, nobody believes this is real, do they? I'm, I'm like, what? I mean, the dog that died was named Sirius, the dog star. What was the name of the dog that died on 9/11? Oh, Sirius. Sirius the dog star. What went 88 miles per hour? The dog. I mean, Sirius police dog. Please tell me he's got a birthday. Born 1997. Womp womp. Guess not. I'd love to track that date because you know it'd be something. Mm, 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 mm. So anyway, where were we? Let's just keep going. Oklahoma City bombing, April 19th, 1995. Fahrenheit 451. Trump's number 45, but the 451 is when it's the signal of everything heating up, so to speak. And there's his birthday, 146, which is how most countries write it in the years, months, days. That's coded. 66 book of the Bible, Revelation is coded, but this is about the Fahrenheit 451, 110%. Remember Fahrenheit 9/11? The Roger Moore. Is that his name? Not Roger Moore. Michael Moore documentaries, and then it was Fahrenheit 119 because 119 is Donald in Jewish Hebrew gematria. Day of the Dead. I was just looking at that. I don't think that's connected to anything. Dia de los Muertos. You know what I guess we could do is just run the date. Let's do it from 2025, 11/1. It's 297. The 97th verse is the opening of the seals. That's pretty perfect. Then if we run it to this year, oh, it's a perfect 68 days. There's your 68. Goodness gracious. That's his name in the same cipher as Antichrist. Reverse reduction. 1968, they did MLK. 1968, they did RFK. 1968, they did 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yeah, I never finished that thought. In 1968, they did the Heidi Bowl on 11/17, just like they did the Wuhan thing is now 11/17. Zachariah 11/17. The Heidi Bowl is the right eye utterly darkened Raiders playing the Jets, and they had Heidi 2 on the movie marquee in Groundhog Day. 68 days to Day of the Dead or 297. $2019. And there's your 144 and your 444. Why did I multiply that by 7154? Always do when it's a single digit followed by a 0. 7154 is God. It was just something I was brought to do many years ago. And it's a true thing because multiplied by one of them is actually one of the most important numbers in my life. You might say, is it your this number or that number? A number that we're all responsible for one way or another, we'll just say. Yeah. And the chances of that are astronomical. The address of Sandy Hook was 12 Dickinson Drive. Well, we want to hit that Dickinson Drive, don't we? Why not hit the Dickinson Drive? 153 or 1053. There's your 156 again. Spear of Destiny, April 11th, August 13th. And I think bounces off a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's Barron Trump. And 666. And 33. And 28, which is the eclipse. And it's August 10th. It matches the number of a man. It matches Groundhog Day, February 2nd. Matches July 4th. Robert Kennedy. Wow. I can't believe that. And yet, I can believe it. Got 48, of course, in the zip code. Wow. The Georgia Guidestones were built on 322 Skull and Bones and dismantled on my birthday. Womp womp. Coded since birth, like I always tell people. Do you know when this began? Look at the what it weighed, 237. Our date, day 237 of the year is 825. I don't know which thumbnail to use, the Georgia Guidestones or what we spoke about earlier, and I can't even remember what that was. I'd have to start the video again in my Zoom to when it pops up to see. But you know when the guy walked into the place? June 8th. It says in June 1979. Well, it ended up being June 8th. June 8th, Georgia Guidestones. All right, June 8th, 1979. RC Christian. Come on. That's just the AI playing games with you. Try one more time. You've got to be kidding me. Did they wipe that out within 24 hours? Because I just looked at it. I just looked at this yesterday when I brought all this up last night. It was the day I graduated high school. And was it somewhere here in the body? Or did they just go in there last night and change the AI just change it? Because June 8th, when I graduated, is also 68. So they got 68 coded. But I'll be doggone if they didn't just wipe that thing right off there in one night. In one night. On June 8th, 1979, RC Christian. There it is. On June 8th, 1979, an elegantly dressed man. I knew it. Well, I didn't know it. I didn't know they would have to do it. But this was this was in Wikipedia last night. I saw it. And now it's only at this website called Tree Hugger. Well, they're all about the divine feminine, the female goddess. I mean, come on, man. Two 1980. It doesn't really have much to it other than the 2422, which is the amount of days between both solar eclipses that form the X across America. It's 2422. Oh, I know what it is. If you include both dates, we get our 58. 169.58 for May 8th. Well, why didn't I click that last night? I don't know. Anyway, and then when it came down to our rising day, it's 4 years, 1 month, 21 days. In other words, 4 FOR. That's how they speak their language. 121 Antichrist in simple gematria. 121, 1 month, 21 days. Look at the weeks. 216, James Bond's card tag, 6 times 6 times 6. That's his card tag in every movie except No Time to Die. That became 4269. Oh, look at the months. 49, which is his name in the same cipher of Antichrist. So it's all over the place with crushing. RC Christian came to 122 trillionaire April 10th. I don't know. I don't have time to go through this. It's not prepped. Leave it alone. Oh, okay. That was something I was looking at. June 17th, 2015. This was the shooting. I started looking at all their events. June 17th, 2015. when you run it, it was a shooting in South Carolina in Charleston. The Mother Emanuel Church killing 9 black worshipers. Okay. 4088. 408 is the date of that total solar that formed the X across America, along with the other one on August 21st, 2017. That's an easy Google search. You got your 34 in the months, you got your 58 in the weeks, you got your 408, but most importantly, you have your 88. Elon Musk. Yeah, that was something I searched last night. Is that his birthday? I don't know. Um, the Depp versus Heard, April 11th and June 1st. The April 11th, that's when I saw Trump in Miami, up close. 383 begins the hours. You know, if you include both dates and go to the rising date, or don't include both dates and just go to the total lunar on the 28th, it's the address, I believe that's the address of the White House, 1600. The address of the White House, 1600 Pennsylvania, right? Yeah. I want you to look at this 1600. It's 16 times 205. That's one way I always look at it, and it's 328. Oh my goodness, it's 500 Antichrist. What? It's 20500, which is Antichrist in Strong's Concordance. You can't make that up. You can't make that up. All right, let's just keep rolling. Crazy. Where were we? Um, yeah, the address of the White House. Yeah. All right, let's move on to other things. Jennifer Aniston, February 11th, 1969. Anything to do with Brad Pitt, The Pit, The Beast Rising from the Pit. What is she on Rising Day? The upside down backwards 9/11 that they featured in Back to the Future that we've shown you many times on the Twin Pines Mall clock. It doesn't really get any better than the backwards upside down 9/11 on Rising Day, does it? Because 9/11 was all about rising, wasn't it? Because September was once the 7th month, and most countries write it backwards from us. It was really about Revelation 11:7, the beast rising from the pit. And what rose up? One World Trade Tower. The Dark Knight rises. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Fascinating. James Franco's all over one of my favorite YouTube channels. So I thought they want us to look at this. April 19th, 1978, James Franco, 48 years old too, by the way. When you look at him to our event day, it's my birthday. My birthday is July 6th, 1961. That's if you include both dates. We can do that. You're allowed to do that. 58 is in the months. Shout out noted. Bat Out of Hell, October 21st, 1977. We know who that is. Batman Out of the Grave, or representing Rising. And there's your 178. Now 6 times 14 is 84. 6 times 14. 6 times 14 is your 84. And don't forget his birthday times this year is 33178. And there's your 178. And it's 178 on Rising Day. It's just 178 42. So everything all inclusive, everything works, everything sticks. Look at the months though. 586. That's why I kept it on the 86ing day. It's 586 in the months. That's our May 8th code, which brought us to this date, fused with 86, also the biblical number. 586 BC, 587 BC, both associated with Israel's captivity. Moving onward. Batman Begins 2, when Batman begins, not only is it 7743, which, you know, if you include both dates, 7744, 404 verses of Revelation, 77, the sevens are all about cleansing in the book of Revelation. But 11 has the word Eve in it. 7 has the word Eve in it, EVE. And 11 times 7 is 77. So it's like Eve cubed. Now look at this. 21 years, 2 months, 12 days. That's 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's a palindrome. Same number in both directions. Look at the months. 254. 9/11 took place on day 254. Look at the weeks. 1106. That's a backwards, upside down 9/11. Drop the 0, which we always do. Unless it's 404 Revelation or 602 Revelation in Strong's Concordance, or the 404 verses coding. You could always keep the 0 if it's coded. All right, lastly, yeah, I still find that impossible. So 12/28/1990, can't remember. I think we already did that. Largest selling albums. And which one was that? That's the Bat Out of Hell, I think we did earlier. I can't remember. Anyway, that's it. Love you guys.